right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000, and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes whom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will have mercy upon. This is your brother M.0.T.B Ban Yahweh, all right, from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. And I wanted to do a follow-up on the M.0.T.B update, all right, from the year 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, all right. And as you can see here, this is an article from End Time Headlines entitled "Artificial Intelligence Relies on Mass Surveillance and Society Embraces It with Open Arms," all right. So let's have a quick read through this, and I'm going to get a few precepts, and then I'm going to show a couple of TikTok videos, and Lord's will, we'll be able to close out. So the article says, opinion: the AI tools that crunch numbers, generate texts and videos, and find patterns and data rely on mass surveillance and exercise concerning control over our lives, the boss of encrypted messaging app Signal told AFP on Thursday, pushing back against the unquestioning enthusiasm at Viva Tech in Paris, Europe's top startup conference, where industry players vaunt the merits of their products. Meredith Whitaker said concerns about surveillance and those about AI were two framings of the same thing. The AI technologies we're talking about today are reliant on mass surveillance, she said. They require huge amounts of data that are the derivatives of this mass surveillance business model that grew out of the 90s in the US and has become the economic engine of the tech industry. Whitaker, who spent years working for Google before helping to organize a staff walkout in 2018 over working conditions, established the AI Now Institute at New York University in 2017. She now campaigns for privacy and rails against the business models built on the extraction of personal data. And she is clear that she has no confidence that the AI industry is developing in the right direction. AI systems have a hunger for data to input, but they produce vast amounts of data too. Even if it is incorrect, she said this output has power to classify, order, and direct our lives in ways that we should be equally concerned about. And she pointed to the power imbalances created by an industry controlled by a handful of surveillance giants that are largely unaccountable. And most of us are not the users of AI, she said. And most of us are subjected to its use by our employers, by law enforcement, by governments, by whoever it is. And they have their own goals, but they may not be goals that benefit us or benefit society. And she said a striking example was the way AI firms like to say that they were helping to find solutions to the climate crisis. And that's one of Esau's main tactics that he likes to use. It's always for the beneficial of the people, or it's always for the masses of the people, or what's that phrase like to say? Oh, there it is. The Wada Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is for the greater good of the people, right? And last but not least, at the end, it says, in fact, she said they were taking money from fossil fuel companies and their technology was being used to find new resources to extract. So basically, you have a situation here where the scripture says, let's get real quick. Let's get the book of Psalms chapter 55. All right. And actually, no, Salakia, scratch that. Let's get Psalm 64, I believe it is. 64 and around verse 8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. All right. And this is an example of, a former a former tech ad, all right, who helped to establish such a system back when she worked at Google in 2018. And now, based off her findings and the way that the technology of AI has been ramping up in the last few years, she pointed out that it is very concerning. And see, this is what's going to be used in Esau's dystopian of a society when they institute their new world order and also start to clamp down on what Yuval Harari classified as surveillance under the skin. OK, and if you're not reading between the lines, this sort of technology is going to tie in with the M.0.T.B. OK, that's going to be surgically implanted. All right. Within your skin. All right. Hopefully I said that right. Yeah, well, it's going to be inserted. All right. Underneath the skin. All right. And so these surveillance giants that she mentioned. All right. They don't have no care in the world. All right, about the average Joe, man. OK, because at the end of the day, it's all about fattening their pockets in the end of the day with all of these private corporations and business transactions that's done right under the noses of the masses of the people. And so they're, signing these big checks and having these corporations to, test out their findings, to build on the technology, to ramp up the technology and stuff like that, so that when the time comes for, the RFID-C-hip to be instituted on a world scale, that is going to be in the control of their hands. That's why she said it's going to be a handful of surveillance giants that are largely unaccountable. OK, and this is the reason why you had a lady by the name of Pippa Milgram who said that we are at the brink of a first of its kind, where we're going to completely do away with the cash system, all right, this current monetary system that we're in, and we are going to turn into a digital one. The only difference is, she said, we need to back ourselves. It has to be regulated. Well, look no further. They now have that in place, all right? And Lord's will, I could be able to leave a video in a post-production after this lesson, all right? So I thought that this was pretty interesting, considering that the artificial intelligence, where it says relies on mass surveillance, all right, Big Brother is watching, and right, and that's speaking of Esau Edom, man. OK, Big Brother is definitely watching, man. OK, but ultimately, all right, the true mass surveillance is going to be underneath your skin. That is the ultimate goal. OK, and as we, watch how this all plays out. All right, let's turn our attentions over to this video right here. Let's take a listen.
Can somebody enlighten me on what's going on here? In Walgreens, there are these coolers, and this is where our drinks used to, we can just open it up and grab. Now it's kind of like all cartooned all the way down. So if you look here, then I'm looking here, and there's a sensor there and a sensor there. It says, wave your hand. Voice assistant coming soon. Okay, pretty soon these doors aren't going to be opening. Really thick, actually, but this is where the food is. So what do you think this means for us as people of the United States of America? What does it mean? Wave your hand. Look at that. Why would that be on a door just to get drinks? Just saying. And it's all the way down. Watch your money. Watch your hand, because pretty soon they're going to make us chip it. That's all.
You see what you see how she threw that in there? Pretty soon they're going to make us chip it. So, hey, she could be a Jake. I don't know. All right. She could be a Jake. We don't know. But I got a second video here from her. Let's check this out.
Sir, you're 100% correct. It's already doing it in Sweden. Now, if you look here, it's a simple Google search. Thousands of Swedes are having microchips implanted into their hands. What they think is good is, they're not going to be able to carry any cards, their ID, or even a train ticket. Because everything's going to be in that little tiny pin they're putting underneath your hand. And the pin is $200. You heard me correctly. It's a moneymaker. The pin is going under your hand or in your body somewhere. It's the size of a little pin. It's going to be $200 to put underneath your skin, so you can buy, sell, or trade anything anything at all. So the government can monitor what you're doing and where you're at. Here's a receipt. Over $200 per little tiny pin chip.
Now, although they have a price tag for that, okay, eventually that price that's going to drop down to zero, okay, and they're going to freely give it out, because in order for you to participate within this society, you're going to have to ultimately take it. And remember what they did during the pandemic, when they wanted you to take the jump shot. All right. They wanted you to take that serpent juice. All right. They started giving out incentives. OK, such as things like, tickets to a ball game. Right. They was paying off tuition funds at one point for students to go in and take the juice. All right. That juice box. OK, so the same thing on how those incentives play out between 2020 to 2022. All right. I can see them implementing something like that down the line when they institute this Micro.C-hip, man.
And they're working very slowly, but pretty soon it's going to be here in America.
Boom. There it is right there. Let me take that back. Pretty soon. See, we told y'all, man, starting with
Here's
the beloved
receipt.
apostles and elders on down, man. They've been telling you this is coming to America. Babylon the Great.
Over $200 per little tiny pin chip. And they're working very slowly, but pretty soon it's going to be here in America.
Bam. Just like she said.
Buckle up. It's going to get bumpy. Sir, you're...
There you go. Pretty soon it's going to be here in Babylon the Great. So buckle up, because it's going to get bumpy. And to translate that from the scriptural standpoint, meaning if you don't have the hedge of protection of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that's your ass, man. All right. So let's get some scriptures and close out. All right. Because this ain't have to be long. This is just a quick update through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And let me just get rid of this. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. This is Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 16. It says that he causeth all, both and small. So let me read that again. Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark or a charagma, all right, which is the Greek word for mark, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, when you break it down, you go into that word mark, all right, for the newcomers, all right, first time coming in on the channel, you have the Greek word there, charagma, which outline of biblical usage says a stamp and an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist, which there are many Antichrists, not just one. It says the mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, right? And the Strong's definition says a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp as a badge of servitude. And this part is key. All right. Remember that badge of servitude, or sculpture, figure, statue, graven, mark. OK, so ultimately it just means a scratch or etching, something that's incised within you. Now, when you go into the root etymology of the word charagma, you have the Greek word charax, which ultimately is as it says here, an outline of biblical usage, a pale or stake, a palisade. OK, which ultimately is a tool that's going to be used to insert that C-hip, right? Now, when we come back out of here, let's continue to read. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, as she stated in the video, save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you will not be able to operate within Esau Edom's digital society without this C-hip, man. Okay. Verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, ultimately, when you go and break down this word, which is key size stigma, all right, when you look up the cross reference G4742 stigma, it reads here in the outline of biblical usage, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods, right? Now, in the Strong's definition, really quickly, it says here, stigma or stizo, to stick, prick, A mark incised or punched for what? Recognition of ownership. Now, remember I said when we looked up the root word of charagma, charax, or I think it was actually charagma, when you go into the Strong's definition, it said a badge of servitude. Okay. So ultimately, that's what it's going to mean. It's going to be a stamp and an incision, all right, of a what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, this implant, all right, is going to be placed within you for recognition of ownership. Okay. It says here, i.e., figuratively, a scar of service, a mark. Okay. So Esau wants to brand you that you are his. Okay. And he wants you to bow, all right, to the image of Baal, man. Okay. Ultimately, this beast system. Okay. But see, the elect, as it is written, they've already got the victory. We just have to let, the story play out. All right. The prophecy play out, that is. So, now, as the scripture says, let's come over here to Revelation, the 14th chapter, because you are not to take it. OK. And here's the proof. Revelation 14, I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. And they have no rest, Salakia, nor they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in this image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. OK, so ultimately, it comes down to if you think for 1 second that when all else fails and you have no way to operate in society because you have to take that chip, don't think that you can take it and then you go and get the things that are sufficient for you unto that day or that week or a month or whatever, and then you can just take it out and then repent later. No, you still gonna be destroyed because you didn't already made your move. You didn't have no faith to begin with. OK, so this is a warning. Do not take it. All right. You're going to have to step out on faith, as the beloved Elder Yashawamba, all right, always states, man. OK, this is the time where, hey, the talking is it ain't going to be no more talking. OK, actions is going to speak louder than words, man. You're going to have to stand 10 toes for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And yes, there will be certain men of the elect that will be martyred for this truth. OK, these are serious times that we're in, man. So as the scripture says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, all right, Habakkuk 2:2, it says, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, all right, which represents these scriptures, that he may run that readeth it, all right, make sure it's clear, all right, make sure we give the correct understanding in the breakdown. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And this is how, we can prove that we at the end of this thing, because the prophecy is speaking and it's not lying. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So just because you may think that it's taking this sweet ass time and ain't nothing really popping off, like she said, just wait, because it's coming to America. OK, it's damn sure coming. And we'll end it off on this. Let's get Ezekiel 33. All right. And 33, it says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. And you're going to know that starting with the beloved elder apostles, bishops, and the rest of the true men that learn under the apostles of Great Millstone. OK, when you see everything come to pass that those men have been teaching us since day one, OK, of Yahweh Shem Shah, raising them up to be the servants to prophets, OK, to raise up the elect of Israel, you going to know. OK, you going to know in that defining hour. So with that, I'm going to close out, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakahak Kodash. Once again, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect, the tabernacle of David. Lord's will, this was edifying, and so on to the next. Shalom.
The ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, And the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the M.0.T.B, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is given me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything.
you sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave. You become a serf.
My favorite economic forum speaker of all time is this reptile, Klaus Schwab's top advisor, Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. Let's see what he has to say.
Data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it.
Elites hacking organisms and re-engineering life itself? Well, he's not talking about doing that to people, is he?
Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people.
Well, I guess he was talking about doing that to people. All people, to be specific.
And if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago. For 4 billion years, nothing fundamental changed.
Not playing God, are you? Because that usually works out super well.
Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some God above the clouds.
Oh, you are playing God. Say more.
But our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution.
Gosh, you wouldn't by chance have a plan in place on how to control people with your cloud technology, would you? And that plan isn't by chance already being implemented, is it?
Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale.
Oh, so you could implement it.
In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste. As the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
Free will, that's over.